Cats, it's Frilly Banana Girl here. Welcome to another week of videos. Hope you had a good weekend. So today's video is on the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, which has been going around a lot lately. And some of you might be wondering, what is ALS? Well, it's often referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and in the spinal cord. Obviously a terrible state to be in, and we want to help prevent people suffering from it. So I was nominated to do the Ice Bucket Challenge, and I didn't know anything about it. So I'm like, I'm not just gonna follow the herd and just jump on board and do this without doing my research. And I actually saw a lot of mainstream celebrities jumping on board, and to be honest, that makes me wary. Whenever the mainstream, goes for something in such a big way, it forces me to question it and research more. My first impression was, is this another cancer industry cash cow where a cure is just around the corner, but it never comes, while these organizations are making a killing off donations from caring people? And some of you might be like, oh, that's a terrible way to think about things. No, it's just being real. It's just being savvy. You have to be savvy in this day and age, or you're going to be taken for a ride for sure. I mean, we're talking about big, huge amounts of money here. We're talking millions, sometimes billions of dollars that these charities are pulling in. And unfortunately, ethics often go out the door. So you really have to do your research on that. That's all I'm saying, do your research. And so I came across this video which I found really interesting. Check it out.
So I got nominated for that Ice Bucket Challenge. I want to thank Tone Desiderio for not only putting on a great video, but for nominating me so that I could help raise awareness for ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. If you've ever known anybody that's had it or gone through a loved one having it, you know what a terrible, heartbreaking disease it can be. And you probably want, just like me, to find a cure so no one else has to go through it. So I wanted to help. So I started by raising my own awareness and going to the website of the ALSA and finding their 2012 financial summary, which you can see here. And it turns out that in 2012, they made over $55 million. So I thought to myself, great, that's a ton of money that they could put towards research and finding a cure for Lou Gehrig's disease, so no one else has to go through it. But if you read the fine print, you see something that's a little bit surprising. See, it turns out that just under 8% of that $55 million actually went to research, while over 10% went to general administrative costs. In other words, salaries for those people in key positions in the organization. And 18%, or more than double what went towards research, went to fundraising, or doing work to get more money. In other words, that $100 you spent so you didn't have to dump a bucket of ice over your head, only about 7 of it actually went to research for ALS, which might have been enough to maybe buy one of those plastic pipettes they use. But $10 of that went to paying people within the organization, and 18 of it went to getting more money to repeat the cycle. See, what a lot of people don't understand is that just because the ALSA is a not-for-profit organization doesn't mean that they have this mandate that they can't make money. In fact, just like any other corporation, their entire goal is to make money. But what the not-for-profit designation does for them is just exempts them from paying any federal income tax, which should really excite all you neocons. I still wanted to do my part. I still wanted to help raise awareness so that we could eventually find a cure for this disease. But what I decided to do was take a page out of the ALSA's playbook, and instead of the 100 ice cubes you'd typically find in a bag of ice, I counted 7 of them out, 7%, and I got them here. So, challenge accepted. Now I want to nominate the rest of you to wake the fuck up and realize that not-for-profit organizations aren't really doing much for research.
Wow, so Brad definitely raised a lot of good points there and got me thinking more and researching more. And I found that a great deal of ALS research funding is being spent on actually torturing animals by creating genetic mutations in them. And these tests are not only torture to innocent animals, but they haven't resulted in effective treatments. So I'm thinking, why do they continue to do them? And this is definitely not something I want to support with my donation.
Some well-meaning people still believe that animal research can be humane. The fact is that humane animal research is a contradiction in terms simply because the very aim of animal research is to cause distress and pain by trying to recreate disease and trauma. The goal is never to cure, since the animals are always healthy before the experiments. How can anyone burn, mutilate, or shock the pain centers of the brain with electricity in a humane manner? Anesthetics and pain-relieving drugs are not required by law, and thus are not given to an estimated 85% of the animals used. One reason for this can be found in the fear on the part of the researcher that the anesthetic might interfere with the experiment. In many instances, anesthetics are replaced with restraining devices or drugs which allow the animals to feel pain, but which paralyze their capacity to move or cry out.
So as you know, I'm all about healthy diet and lifestyle and using that to, prevent illness and to reverse illness and to do the best we can through our diet and lifestyle. So I did a bit of research with ALS and diet, and one of the first things I came up with was a medical study done in the Lancet. So this study concludes that a high carbohydrate, high calorie diet could slow down ALS progression. The researchers found that while patients in the control group experienced 42 adverse events linked to ALS, patients in the high carbohydrate, high calorie groups experienced 23 adverse events. That is a huge difference. We need to be taking notes. We need to be researching that more. They also had no serious adverse events, including deaths, while patients in the control group had 9. So that's a huge difference. And by default, when you're having a high carbohydrate diet, it becomes a plant-based diet. And I can only imagine with the total exclusion of animal products, how awesome the results would be. And so we have another study here. Eating bright colored fruits and vegetables may prevent or delay ALS. So new research suggests that increased consumption of foods containing colorful carotenoids, particularly beta-carotene and lutein, may prevent or delay the onset of ALS. So, folks, eat your fruits and vegetables. Here's another fantastic study. Here's more proof that eating fruits and vegetables can help prevent disease, serious disease. Okay, Fruit Bats, so that's the video for today. I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so please leave them in the comments below, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to go fruit or root yourself. See you soon.